faculty, distinguished graduates. As I'm sure we've all heard numerous times, probably too many times to count by now, it takes a village. Now, this mantra, however, is much more than an African axiom that has withstood the test of time. It's more than just some term of art that has mystically traversed generations. This small statement, instead, it rests as a proxy for progress, the reflection of resistance, and a way to beat bondage and overcome oppression. Before we had cities, before we had towns, we had the village. A close-knit community that was truly premised on the belief we have it as good as you have it. Now, I can think back, and when I'm thinking about the village, I remember the words of Pop. That's my mother's father. That's what we call him. And he would always tell us, life's like a bank. If you don't put anything in, you can't get anything out of it. And as I think about my life and my timeline up to this particular point right now, I'm reminded of all that my village invested in me. And because of this, I must admit, my village is vested, and to its success, I am committed. I stand here today, a Master of Arts and a Juris Doctor, understanding this doctoral robe that I adorn. It's a communal achievement. You see, I can remember being expelled from high school. Senior year, a month away from my graduation, just after Cinco de Mayo. Now, I think back about this graduation that I never made it to. Now, I still graduated, at least in the technical sense. I mean, like everybody else, I received a diploma in the mail. But yet, despite this peculiar situation I found myself in, my father took it upon himself to craft up some ingenious device that still allowed me to matriculate into Chico State, a 4-year university. Now, unfortunately, this good fortune that I have been blessed with, I didn't take advantage of. After just a semester at Chico State, I found myself with a bad case of the county blues. Do not pass go, do not collect $200. Desperate, dejected, I was saved by Grandma, my life safety net, who blessed me with that beloved get-out-of-jail-free card. Now, the truth is, but believe it or not, I wasn't always too good at this thing called the game of life. No, not at all. We all have our struggles, but to an outsider looking into my life, it might seem as though I preferred the rough road. I can hear Pop now. Or, trouble, that's one thing that's easy to get into, but hard to get out of. After watching me struggle with the sincerity of this statement, my mother worked to assemble a divine collection of prayer warriors who placed their collective faith in my future. By then, education was but a figment, an afterthought to me. Yet and still, my mother, even underemployed and of limited means, took what little she had and paid for classes that helped me go back to school and ultimately enabled me to become a licensed real estate agent. Now, all these years later, I've yet to complete my first land transaction. but these classes, they provide a spark of desire that ignited that educational fire. Surely, my village is vested, and to its success, I am committed. Now, I know that as graduates, each one of us are able to point to family, friends, maybe even a significant other who was there to help us cross and wade through the rough waters as we pursue today's educational goal. As we think about our own villages, I'm sure that adoration, adulation, or simple appreciation would make any one of us quick to single those individuals out. And while I definitely support those endeavors, such haste, however, leaves me a bit weary. A bit weary that the true social, cultural, and historical significance of the village just might elude us. You see, the village is a concept that pays homage to the invaluable institutions, such as the black family that had newly emancipated men and women scurrying in the countryside in search of loved ones that weren't all blood ones. Those men and women certainly weren't overly concerned with themselves. Institutions like the black church and its ability to preserve culture, forge empowerment through fellowship, and cultivate the leaders that ultimately engineered a social revolution. Institutions like the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the Universal Negro Improvement Association, and the Black Panther Party. Institutions that scoffed at notions of natural or biological black inferiority. Institutions that worked tirelessly to carve out spaces for the use and display of black genius and black ingenuity. They did this in their persistent push for the progress of an entire people. This institutional understanding, this communal commitment, that is the essence of the village. Even here at UCLA, institutions like the African Student Union, the Black Law Students Association, Afro-American Studies, these institutions, they serve important village functions that are extremely important in the pursuit of our individual academic achievements. They've enabled us to carve out places on campus to preserve cultural memories, to forge strong and important bonds of friendship and kinship, to be able to cultivate the leaders of tomorrow that look like you. With such noble pursuits, each of us here today serve as tangible proof of the good work that these institutions do. It's because of this that I proudly affirm my village is vested, and to its success, I will remain committed. You see, success is sweet, but it takes sweat. And like my grandfather's family favorite tea cakes, he had the recipe for that too. To cook up success, he'll tell you, it takes 3 things: dedication, patience, and sacrifice. As each of us ascend into those bright futures that lie ahead, I just want us to remain cognizant of both the people and the institutions that make up our village. When we think about those institutions, those cherished places, I want us to remain dedicated to ensuring that their purpose of making sure that stories like my own, people who have gone through things like I have, or even worse, that still have the talent, are given the opportunity to create stories of inspiration from desperation and despair. Let us find patience in the knowledge that the same ingenuity and genius that brought us this far will bring us much farther in due time. When each of you receive your degrees, as you sit, you look at those degrees, and you recognize the representation and endorsement of your success that document bestows. The feeling at that moment, those emotions, the sense of pride, the sense of achievement, all those things that you feel. Understand, those are the idea of success that your village here on campus envisioned for you. Now, as I said, success demands sacrifice. So, as we celebrate this commencement today, amidst all the jubilation we'll surely experience from these opening salutations into the closing congratulations, please, each of you, join me in a willingness to sacrifice, to do our parts, our small parts, however they may be, in this larger guarantee that those like us who follow through the doors of this ivory tower, that they're given the same opportunity, that they're endowed with the same institutional means and mechanisms to duplicate those feelings of progress, empowerment, and success that we all enjoy right now. Now, doing this is not going to be easy, but if we remain committed to their success, the success of our village, we can achieve. Whether this be through simple donations to the Afro-American Studies Department, whether it be through collective alumni creating scholarships for new students, or whether it just be offering mentorship to students who have similar interests as your own. Each of these collectively will get us to where we're trying to go. Now, the idea behind this is that we must invest in those behind us. I mean, because after all, in this village, we'll have it as good as they have it.